Hello, everyone, and welcome to the LSE Charleston. Good evening and good morning wherever you are in the world. If you are in Australia, good morning to you guys. 5-1 to the Reds tonight in Prague. A party in Prague, that's exactly what it is. A city known for parties, but it will only be the Reds that are partying into tonight. And what a win, boys, to start off our knockout Europa League campaign, because this is it now. It's round of 16, quarterfinals, semi-finals, final. The road to Dublin starts now, and what a start, Mihai, to the road to Dublin.
Yep, it's been great to pretty much get the job done now in the first leg. So it's great to see some of the injured players not injured. Some of those players who were injured get some minutes, and Szoboszlai, Salah. I was actually a bit disappointed Salah didn't get the goal, but I thought he, could have been on. I don't know with that angle anymore. But what's extremely annoying is that we can't seem to get one match without an injury scare. So now we have to see what happens to Konate, but we'll get into that later.
Clem, it was an almost perfect game. Klopp got to rotate his team. Klopp got to rest some players, to bring some players off. But we're a bit shaky at the back at times. Didn't get the clean sheet that I would like, and then the Konate injury as well. Let's start off with a disappointment, Clem. Is there any disappointments apart from the Konate injury tonight?
I would say it would be right now. You're obviously taking some good form with Nunez scoring a brace, and some guys getting on the goal sheet, score sheet, Szoboszlai. But obviously, it looks like now we're going to be down our starting centre back. Not to say that the next guy's not going to step in, and we'll talk about who will probably get the start. Gomez, there was some talk on the feed that he might be nursing something as well. But yeah, I mean, 3-0 up at the half. I'd love to hear what you guys would have done if you were in Klopp's position. But the sensible thing would have been to sub Konate off, given he's been dealing with some previous muscle concern as well. I mean, I would have taken 3-0 at full time. To be up 3-0 at the half, like it was basically already put to bed. So yeah, definitely Damon.
It was, looking back on hindsight, Klopp will be like, why didn't I take Konate if I said Gomez? But Konate is well known for getting injured, but so is Gomez, if I'm honest. And Gomez has been quite important in terms of the versatility that he's offered us in the last few weeks. But it's one of them, innit, Carter, where you can't predict an injury happening, but is it too close to Sunday for him to be fit Sunday? And give me initial thoughts of the game itself. Give me initial reaction to the 5-1 win.
I think with the Konate thing, I can understand taking Gomez off instead. Although Konate is a risk, I think if Gomez goes, as mad as it might sound, because there's the international break, at this point Gomez might be more important because he can play all the positions. Whereas, as good as Konate is, he's a centre half. And I think for the game, I was really impressed. I thought Elliot was great. I thought people might laugh at this, but honestly, that Mac Allister game was like a vintage Naby Keita performance. Just all over the place, pressing, little small diminutive player, winning sort of little kick-ons, not knocking anyone to the floor, but just being a real nuisance. Obviously, Nunez, unbelievable. One of his, maybe not even, I wouldn't even say that was like a top like 20 game Nunez has had for Liverpool. I just think he just scored 2 great goals. Like, all of us have seen Nunez has had games where he's absolutely bullied players and he's just dominated a team. But today it was just, he just took his 2 chances unbelievably well. And I thought that was a great positive going into Sunday. I was hoping maybe he'd save one of those for the weekend. But if hopefully he can just get another one.
It was like an opposite to Nunez' performance, wasn't it? Nunez is normally an absolute animal elsewhere on the pitch and causing havoc and causing defences, but they're missing easy chances and not end up getting a goal. He normally has about 9 shots and no goal, but tonight didn't really get involved. It was more like a Jota performance where he didn't really get involved much and just came up with the finishes, and incredible finishes they were. Mihai starting tonight with a goal from the spot from Mac Allister. All from Mac Allister's hard work rate. This is what Klopp has drilled into every single player at Liverpool since he's joined in. That's put the graft in, get the shutting down onto the players, and that's exactly what Mac Allister did to win that penalty. It's a clear penalty, no arguments from Sparta Prague. And then the man slotted the penalty quite nicely in the bottom corner. Mac Allister, we've had many conversations on our chat about Mac Allister. I've said he's not a 6. I said get him playing forward. You will get to see the best out of him. We are seeing the best of Mac Allister. Mihai, do you agree?
Yeah, I think we were discussing a few days earlier on another stream about, I said at the beginning of the season, I thought Szoboszlai might be our signing of the season. Now it's Mac Allister seems to be the favorite to that award, but obviously a long way to go. But it just shows you that, it's been, our signings have been just spot on and pretty much, I mean, maybe Gravenberch took a while to settle in, but he'll get there as well. Yeah, Mac Allister has been amazing, and I think he's been great to the squad for multiple reasons. I think it's also the connection that he might have with Darwin Nunez, both of them being South American and helping Nunez settle in, obviously, because we know that Darwin, struggled with the language and all that. So I think Mac Allister has been instrumental on the pitch. He's quickly turning to be one of my favorite players to see. He just has a great attitude. I feel like even at press conferences we've seen, before the game as well. I think he's just great on and off the pitch. I can't wait to see more of him.
If you are live, please comment in the chat. Get your man of matches in. Get your thoughts in about tonight's game. Who do you want in the next round, by the way? Because it's shaping up really well for Liverpool right now. Leverkusen struggling tonight. AC Milan play in just a while. They're the second favourites behind Leverkusen and behind us. So Liverpool are rightly the favourites, Carter, for this. And having said that, now we're at 5-1 win going into the second leg. Do you rest everyone?
I think it depends. Sort of. I don't think too many players are coming back, and we should be fine. But I still think you want 1 or 2 more senior players. Like I'd probably say you at least want 4, maybe 4 normalish players and plus a Simicast. Like I wouldn't want to go too crazy because the worst thing you want, like we should be fine. But if you concede, all of a sudden, if you go 3-0 down, like which has happened, like who did, was it Belgrade, Red Star Belgrade in one of the group games when I think we won the Champions League, we maybe lost 2 or 4-2 or something. So those teams, they can hurt us if you're not fully switched on and if you've got an experience in the team. And I think they did show there was chances in behind for them. And on another day, they could have put 2 or 3 in. And if you go 2 overboard and you change it, you're then like putting all the big subs on, and then they've got to chase the game and maybe go to extra time or whatever. And then you've got Man United in the cup. I think there just needs to be a balance. Like maybe one of Wataru or Mac Allister for a bit, and then maybe at 60 minutes you switch them over and bring one on and one off. Just keep a level of experience. Like probably keep Gakpo on and maybe swap him with Diaz at one point. I wouldn't risk Nunez or Salah, but I just think keep a few senior players and it makes it easier for everyone else to perform. Like it'll be easier for Danz or Kumos, or is it Kumas, if they have Gakpo or more senior players around them.
Do you think it's a chance then for like Klopp just to say Salah get fully match fit, Szoboszlai get fully match fit? Hoping, we don't know when Trent and Alisson back really. That's still in the dark at the moment. Just getting these players back fully fit, trying out the likes of Gravenberch getting played, and maybe even Jadon Danns next week. Do you reckon?
Yeah, I think. Oh, sorry, my bad.
Sorry.
Oh, Carter, sorry, go on.
Is that for Carter? Yeah.
Yeah, sorry, mate. Sorry. Go on, Carter.
I think there's a chance. I think there's a mixture of I think Dan's, McConnell, Clark. I'd like to see Cade Gordon get a go because it just seems he's completely sort of vanished from the forefront. Like after that sort of cup semi-final, I thought he looks really talented and it's just sort of faded away. But I think there'll be a decent amount. I think maybe we'll see, is it the young centre half who's 17? Maybe he'll get a run if we're a bit low on centre halves. Maybe the young Polish lad who was on the bench, maybe he'll get a game, but I think he'll balance it well. I have full faith that it might be a 1-1 or a 2-2 in the sort of home leg, just because we might overchange, but I don't think we'll be with any chance of losing.
Clem, with tonight's game, it was at times we looked a bit dodgy, didn't we? I know it's Sparta Prague. I think we got away with certain things, and we're lucky it was Sparta Prague in the end. There's a couple of chances they created, and there was a lot of gaps. Where do you think those gaps came from? I mean, we said there was talk about it in the chat saying Fons had a poor game. It's not like him to have a poor game, but it seems to be gaps all across the back four.
Yeah, I think they just hit us on the counter as well. We played a lot of football recently. There's been a lot of players in and out of different lineups. Credit to them. They're always going to create some chances early, try to hit us early. But once we weather the storm, I think I'm more surprised we actually look more stable later in the game. I thought they would have really pushed forward to try to get a couple. But when Bobby Clark came on, I thought he was really solid. So yeah, I think it was just a combination in the beginning of maybe just not being settled. Kelleher pulled off a couple of great saves as well. One was a misguided header back from Endo, which he tipped over the bar, and then the other one with the hand on the shot, and then Gomez clearing the line as well. If two of those had went in, we'd be looking at a 5-3, and maybe a different story. But overall, I mean, you can't really be displeased with the result. They're always going to create some chances, and once we weathered the storm, I think it was smooth sailing.
Do you think Kelleher's putting like extra money onto his price tag at the moment? Because people won't want him to go, but at some point he's going to have to go because he's going to be looking for first team football, and we can't offer him first team football at Liverpool, and it deserves first team football. But the cup final performance and the performance after that, and then the performance tonight, it just seems to be adding that money onto the price tag, doesn't it?
Yeah, part of being a good keeper is also confidence and a run of games. I think Kelleher's had huge fans that have really believed in him all the way since the last cup run. But now this season it seems like he's gone to another level with confidence. And that's what comes with a run of games. And sometimes you need an injury to be able to get that. Otherwise we wouldn't be seeing Kelleher maybe play this many games as well. There was a topic, gentlemen, before the game. Should we have rested Kelleher? Well, what would have happened if Adrian was in tonight?
Would have probably lost 5-1. Would have probably lost 5-1. That's how it would have been. It would have been. Yeah,
it was shaky to say the least in the beginning. So look, Kelleher, another outstanding performance. He would probably be in my top 3 player of the game, so man of the match. But Mac Allister would have to be top. Nunez, give or take.
Get your man of matches in the comments, please. Let me know your man of matches. Do you agree with Clem there? It is Mac Allister, or is it Kelleher, the man that saved pretty much every shot Bradley gave to him? So, apart from one, Mihai, the second half again, we looked more solid at the back, but we're still conceding that goal straight after half time. Bradley on goal. That was his first touch of the game. But to bring the likes of Salah on and Szoboszlai on, and players like that, you're thinking Sparta Prague are thinking, no, we're back in this here. And then they see Salah coming on the pitch and see Szoboszlai coming on the pitch and say, no, we're not back in this here. How good is it for Klopp to finally have like that sort of squad where he can start rotating his bench? I mean, last year we look at his bench and think, Navigator's on one leg, you got Oxlade-Chamberlain on one arm, and then you got the rest of them practically aging, like some Milner and Endo there as well. Hendo, not Hendo. But this is what people have been asking for a long time. Right? When it comes to transfers, this is what Klopp needs. Just a chance to bring players on like that, a chance to keep it fresh and keep it at the same level.
Yeah, exactly. When you started the point, it's exactly what I was thinking about. It's what we've been asking for the past few seasons. Really, I think ever since that Champions League run in 2018, we were thinking, what if Jurgen had an actual entire squad to compete with? And I think since last season, rather last summer, we finally have that, and Jurgen finally has that, albeit for one season only.
Yeah.
obviously I thought Szoboszlai was actually great coming on, and Salah as well. They both look sharp, and hopefully that means they can start on Sunday as well. I think we obviously missed them, and we obviously need them going forward now. Hopefully they stay fit. I mean, with Mo, I honestly never really doubted it. When he came on against Brentford as well, after a few games missed, we saw that he looked sharp as ever. It's like he was never gone, and looked the same tonight. So that's why I think I think he's okay. Looking at him, I think he's fine to start on Sunday. Hopefully he will. But yeah, it's great, and I just have this feeling, I hate how this final Klopp season has been plagued with so many injuries, because you just feel it would have been a lot smoother navigating all these competitions if we had a full squad. Because imagine if we had a full squad, we could have played even tonight, even in the League Cup against Chelsea. We could have had an entire squad out, and on one hand it would have been a lot easier, but on the other hand, maybe we would have never seen players like Bradley, Kwanzaa, Dance, shine, basically McConnell, Clark, everyone else. So I think it's on one hand it's been quite frustrating to see, but on the other hand we've discovered some great talents as well. So I'm really honestly pumped to see the squad for like the next 3, 4, 5 seasons, because now we have a lot of young talent even coming in, because Szoboszlai, Mac Allister, players like that are still young, and we also have the kids from the academy. So I think it's just going to be a great few seasons to be a Liverpool fan.
It wouldn't be Liverpool without with plain sailing. It wouldn't be Jurgen Klopp's Liverpool certainly without plain sailing. Hands tied behind his back and still performing, still getting the team to perform the way he does, it sums up the Jurgen Klopp era. And if we were to win the league or even the Europa League added on to the cup or the FA Cup, I think that documentary is going to make some moolah, because it's going to be something. It's everything is just dramatic. Everything since Jurgen Klopp's come here, everything seems to be like it's written. Coming up to the point of being one game off an invincible season, getting to the Champions League final twice, and then the quadruple run last time, and then even last year it was a big drop off, but it's dramatic, and we still kept it dramatic until the last few games. We still always wanted to be there, and that's just Jurgen Klopp. That's Liverpool as a whole. It's always, ever since I can remember being a kid, Liverpool have been dramatic.
That's what I've been thinking as well. I've been thinking as well, like, sorry, can I?
Well,
yeah, I was just saying, you kind of. That's what I've been thinking. You kind of. It's like we've earned a bit of luck now, because we've had so much, when we in the Champions League final 2018, 2022, in the league race, in the title charges against City. It's been so close every time, and you feel like maybe this season it can finally go our way, because now at this point I feel like we've earned it. But yeah, we'll see.
You think so, wouldn't you? You think so. That's what we're thinking right now. But Carter, City on Sunday. I know we're talking about the Europa League right now, but City Sunday, we've got to at least glimpse over it, because it is literally, I won't say title decided, but it is absolutely massive. And I think it's more of a mental massive, where who gets the advantage mentally. If it becomes a draw, then Arsenal might fancy the chances. If Liverpool win, then mental side, that's they've taken over. Momentum's Liverpool's. But if City win, that could really dampen what is looking like an unbelievable perfect season.
I think some people might say there's still a bit of a run in to go, and City still have like Spurs, and they still have Arsenal, and even like a team like Wolves, who they've struggled against with their sort of transition team, and even Nottingham Forest, who have a lot of pace in behind, and Nuno, who's got quite a good record against Pep. But for me, you have to win this game. Like, if you want to win the league, if we lose, if we don't win the league, I will blame it purely on this game, because the years we've lost by 1 point is because of these City home and away. We haven't won one of the games. Like, you think if we literally maybe don't lose, or if we actually just win one of those City games in those 2 years, we lose by 1 point, we win the league. Like, that is the difference. You have to beat them. If you told me, maybe not at the start of this year, I would have said we'd definitely be in top 4. But if you just said any of those years we had the proper sort of the front three and we were just completely imperious, if you'd have told me you'll get 4 to 6 points out of City, I would say we'll win the league. And we haven't done that. And that's why I think no matter what, they might drop points to Arsenal. If we can put a bit of daylight between us and them, and hopefully my hope is Arsenal manage to get through in the Champions League and they get each other in a big sort of semi-final or a quarter-final, and it takes a lot out of them. It's like when we've had to go and play City and then you have a game in the league, or when you have to play a big Champions League game, it does take it out of you. So I think stuff like that is really key for us. Whereas now, hopefully we get maybe, is it Qarabag beat Leverkusen? Maybe we get someone like that in the next round. But I just want them to have as tough a time as possible and be chasing us. As you said, for us, mentally, this will be absolutely huge.
These European competitions will play a massive part in it, and how far we're going to them as well. I mean, Arsenal and City playing Champions League football up until, well, I think Arsenal are going to go through. I know they're losing the first leg, but I still think Arsenal go through. City are through already. We're through already in terms of the Europa League. So, and we're travelling far. If we do go to like Qarabag, for example, that's Azerbaijan. That's a distance to travel on a Thursday night, knowing that you've got a game on Sunday. So it will start playing a part. It'll start playing a part physically on the players, as well as mentally tiredness. But if like you just said there, if Liverpool can win this Sunday, get that gap, then they can afford to sort of like not be as pressurised going into Europa League matches. You know what I'm saying? Where we can just relax a bit more and not ensure that people get injured, and we can start playing around with a team in the league as well, and the cup possibly. But just certain fixtures, it's going to be an interesting running because Liverpool have not got the easiest fixtures. I don't think either three have got easy fixtures really. I think the last 5 games of Liverpool are tough, very tough. Apart from maybe Wolves on paper, we've got Villa away, Fulham away, Everton away. These are not easy teams, and these are not easy teams to be, not easy places to go. No one's easy in this league, apart from Sheffield United. But that's a different story. Clem, where do you go for Sunday then? Who do you play for Sunday? Because with Konate looking like he's out, do you go back to Gomez at centre-back, or do you play Quanta alongside Van Dijk?
Yeah, look, that's the $1 million question. I think the fact that Kwanzaa played a full 90, so that might really factor in. Early indications, I'd look to Gomez just because he might be more fresh. Came off for Connor Bradley. But Gomez in terms of form, I trust Kwanzaa just as much as the next guy, Gomez, as well. So it's not really a reflection of talent. I think now you've just got to go with the fittest guy. That's what I would do. I mean, it's not ideal that this game was so close to the City game, the biggest game of the season. Like Carter said, I think we win against City, we have one hand on the cup. I think it's really that at that point now. And I think they'll be fearing us as much as we might fear them. And look at the form Nunez is in. Like that is another great story to come out of tonight. Coming in, banging in goals for fun. 1,000 goals under Klopp now. So yeah, look, we take good form from the result. But in terms of the back four, look, seeing Verge come on, a part of me was a little bit nervous tonight as well. But I mean, that guy's made of stone.
There's no way. They're still training, though, isn't they, Clem? So I'm not going to say anything about Virgil getting injured just yet, because there's still another training session to happen before Sunday. Going forward, though, Clem, like Nunez, you said, is absolutely on fire. Where do you play Nunez? Because Nunez started up front tonight, but again, we saw him quiet. He started to play like a Jota role. For me, I think he's better coming from the left, and we saw that again with tonight with the goal. The goal was sensational, by the way. Cutting in from the left-hand side, crossing with right. If Salah's fit, do you drop Diaz? Do you drop Gakpo? Where are you going with that?
Yeah, it's a good headache to have. I think Gakpo actually was pretty solid. Good to see Salah get in. We haven't really seen a look at the goal, the offside thing, but it looked clean for me. Yeah, I would keep Salah on the right, of course. Diaz has been solid this season, so it's hard to keep him out. So it'd probably be Nunez in the middle, and Gakpo coming off the bench, and probably Elliott, the super sub. You need some attackers to come off the bench as well, in case we need to get a result. Let's say it's a cagey affair. It's 0-0, 65 minutes or 70 minutes or 1-1. It helps to have some scoring punch off the bench as well.
The talk about Gakpo at the moment is his form, and tonight, he was all right. He got involved in a lot, but it was certain passes he couldn't make. His link-up play was quite terrible for a player that's used to being in that sort of position and linking up. But we were talking about Gakpo last week and against Forest, Carter, because the amount of chances he missed, and again, Diaz missed a lot of chances against Forest as well. And I said, let's play Dan's. Why don't we not play Dan's up front? I don't care if it's against City, and people are like, oh, you can't throw an 18-year-old against City. But what's the worst that can happen? If you're going to play Gakpo who's missing chances anyway, if you've got an 18-year-old that's special like that, and then can finish chances the way he did against Southampton in the Cup, that's what you want on the pitch. You want someone that's confident shooting, that's not scared of shooting, that's not scared of really getting into the goal and being that clinical striker and making those runs that he did against Southampton. Gakpo doesn't offer that, what Dan's offers. Gakpo is probably better on the left, but we've got too many left-sided players, unfortunately. We've got too many left wingers that are wanting to play out throughout the front three. And Diaz is fantastic. He's all right tonight again, but he seems to be predictable. He wastes a lot of chances. I mean, he had about 6 chances against Forest on Saturday, not one on target. So, is there any harm in playing someone like Dan's in a game like this?
I think the issue with Dan's is if you played Dan's, obviously I think he had a concussion from the weekend, so he wasn't in the squad tonight. But I think the issue of playing someone like Dan's against City is he might just get swallowed up. Like, as good as he is, and he looks like a big, strong 18-year-old for his age, you're playing Ruben Diaz, John Stones, and Rodri are sort of in that area. And I think no matter what, he might be more onto a ball that drops in the box. But I think for when we actually are trying to keep the ball and play out, I think it's a big, big ask, like, to put him in there. Like, I'm not saying he'll get absolutely bullied, but I think at this time it's a big risk. Whereas I don't think he played well, but I definitely think we saw a lot more Gakpo, like on the last player's shoulder, making runs in behind, which is, I think, a big issue for him normally. Is, I don't know if you lot agree, you just stand in the box. We don't need you next to Harvey Elliott and Szoboszlai. Just stand in the box. You're a big lad. You're obviously a good finisher. Szoboszlai, Trent, probably the best strikers of the ball. Like, if you see the clips in training, he absolutely smashes it. Like, but I also think, as you kind of said with Diaz, I don't think those two suit playing together. I think they want to do the same thing. So I think it's a bit difficult for Gakpo now, especially when he played off the right wing. Like, for me personally, I think he's a bit like Depay, where he's not good enough to play on the wing in the Premier League. They kind of have to play down the middle. Like, they're not quick enough off the mark. Like, I'm trying to think of a player to compare. Like you look at even someone like maybe Ben Doka's got that speed, that sort of to go past the player. Whereas I look at Gakpo and I don't think he's got that. I think he can play on the half turn. And that's where he's looked really good, when he gets the ball and he turns and he drives. But I can't really remember when I've ever seen him get the ball on the left wing and do 2 step overs and go past his man. Whereas I think Ben Doak did that in his first game. Like, I just don't think he's got the attributes to do that. So I think we're in a bit of a funny position where him and Nunez are both playing 9, and Nunez is clearly more suited to what we've got.
I think Gakpo reminds me of a little bit of a Havertz, because the way they play is they drop off a lot, a bit like Firmino, but not as much as Firmino. Like, they still can literally score goals, and Havertz and both Gakpo and Havertz did their best, to score the goals for Leverkusen and PSV in their leagues, and were very, very good goal scorers playing that false sort of 9 role. But coming into the Premier League, it's a different kettle of fish. And I think both of them together are still trying to find their sort of main position, which hadn't helped obviously Klopp and Arteta because they're still trying. They need wins. Klopp and Arteta need wins, so they can't wait for players. They've got a league to win. So Havertz is starting to hit form now, which is seen. I think I'm hoping that we can show that patience in Gakpo and he can start hitting that form where Havertz has, because you don't lose your talent overnight. I've said this plenty of times. People laugh at Havertz. They're saying, wow, what a flop, because he played bad a few games. This guy was unbelievable in Germany. If you watch Bundesliga football, he carried Leverkusen before Alonso went there, before like the Havertz and stuff. He was unbelievable. And the Gakpo did the same in Holland. So what you need to do is give these players a little bit of leeway. I think you need to give these players a chance to prove themselves and a chance to prove themselves in their position, because Gakpo's been thrown everywhere this season. He's been thrown in midfield, he's been thrown on the right wing, he's been thrown up front on the left wing. And if you're going to get consistent form, you need to be consistent with him when he's playing. This is not Klopp's fault, but this is just down to, well, like recruitment or anything like that, because Gakpo's had to play midfield because of injuries. But injuries to players that are expected to be injured. Gakpo's had to play on the right wing because of injuries. So I think he's definitely talented. There's a player that I looked at before we signed him. It's a player I wrote about a year before we even signed him, because I liked Gakpo. I liked him. It was incredible in the World Cup for Holland. And it's a nice headache to have, like the Gakpo and Diaz fighting for these positions, because we didn't have this. Even when we had Mane, Salah and Firmino, we didn't really have anyone pushing them from behind, apart from like Taki and Enrique, but they weren't really starters. These can push for starters. Gakpo can push for a start. Diaz can push for a start. You know, even like Elliott can push for a start. So Klopp is in a perfect position right now to go and win a quad. Whether we do so will depend a lot on the next few weeks for me, because we've got Man City, big game. Sparta Prague, let's give our rotational options a go, because we still need to think about Manchester United on the weekend. And the Man United game next weekend is no easy game. I know it seems easy when Man United are absolute crap, but this is Man United Liverpool. We saw it at Anfield. We drew 0-0 against these guys. We had about 30 shots, but we drew 0-0. Things can happen, especially in one game, knockout games. Things that can happen but you don't expect to happen. These next 2 weeks, boys, is absolutely crucial to just the whole season. It really is. It could be either a 2 weeks of absolute bliss. It could be a 2 weeks of torture. If we lose to Man City, then that mental impact it could have could be massive. And it could even go on to the Man United game. Steve says here, great win, half-time, perfect. No idea why 4 kids were not thrown on. Even if it finished 3-2, great result. If we had protected our stars after so many matches and Konate injury-prone, Gomez might be injured. Yeah, we still haven't heard anything from Gomez. I don't know about you boys, I haven't heard anything from Gomez just yet. He got brought off at half-time, whether injury or tactical, we don't know. We do not know yet. But Konate, yes. Konate is injury-prone. That's why we've been saying like we need extra centre-backs, because we've got Konate and Gomez, who are both injury-prone, by the way, and a youngster in Quensa. So really, we're putting all our eggs into Van Dijk staying fit and making sure he's that. Because if Van Dijk gets injured, then we're knackered at the centre-back position. It's that easy. It was a brilliant win though tonight, boys. Give me your man of match's performance before we do leave. Mihai, who's your man of match tonight, lad?
No, I think it's just one of those difficult ones to choose. I was thinking Nunez mainly because of the fact that he did his best Jota impression tonight, and he just banged the 2 goals in and it was done. I would go Mac Allister though. I think he was influential again. Obviously Elliott, I think he had 3 assists as well. Great performance from him tonight. My favorite would be Mac Allister though for tonight.
Mac Allister has definitely. People say he was a 6. He played incredible at 6. If you watched him at 6, though, Mac Allister last half a season, he was incredible in like 2 or 3 games tops. Incredible, like levels. But now you see him in his actual position. He's incredible every single game. This is the level that he can hit at every single game, and he's given us a new outlook on how we attack as well. Because he's given us creativity outside the box. We're not having to rely on Trent when he's not there. We're not having to rely on Salah when he's not there. Clem, are you sticking with Mac Allister?
Yeah, I think it's a close one between Mac Allister and Kelleher for me. Nunez, I mean, amazing goals, but yeah, like you said earlier, he's kind of bobbed up like a Jota like performance tonight. But yeah, Mac Allister, he's 25. He looks like he's really starting to reach his potential. And I think the consistency of playing with the players, the new midfield this season, I think his best football is going to come towards the end of the season, and as Mihai mentioned earlier, the connection between Nunez now, it really looks like they've developed a close friendship off the pitch, and on the pitch, it looks like it's translating as well. I mean, to play that ball into space for Nunez's second goal, that was more like, I'm just going to put it up there and you go get it, and and pop it in. So
it could be another Gerard Torres link up, because they two was on the same level and they were on the same planet. Those two, when they linked up, there were no better duo in world football. I'm hoping Mac Allister and Nunez can do the same thing. Carter, go on, mate.
Just quickly, the penalty, and I'll throw it to Carter. What were your thoughts on seeing Mac Allister step up to take a penalty?
It was nice to see someone different, and it was a cool penalty. It wasn't an amazing penalty, but it was a nice, cool finish. I think he's definitely put his name in the hat in future penalties. I was surprised not to see Nunez take it. How about you?
Yeah, a little bit. But yeah, great to see him step up. Maybe a future leader of the club as well. I know Jen in the chat's been asking that question a little while. If Salah's not taking it, who would you lads prefer to take it? Yeah, so it was good.
Boys, do you agree? Mihai, Carter, Mac Allister penalties?
I'm all for it. Yep.
I think
he's thrown his name in the hat, though, isn't he? He has thrown his name in the hat.
Him and Szoboszlai, I think, definitely took the penalties for their kind of clubs, or would it at least in the sort of group, like I think Gross and Mac Allister or whatever take him at Brighton, but definitely those lot. But I think sometimes at some point Nunez, when Salah sort of gets a bit older, Nunez has got to step up, because that's just as we see with Salah, it's another 10 goals. Because we all probably saw tonight, it's like 27 goals. If he takes penalties, if he's taken 10 penalties, he's got 37 goals and assists. So I think at some point he's got to step up, even if, like, you think Milner might be like Mac Allister and Salah might be like Nunez. So even though Milner, who Mac Allister in this case is a bit better, Nunez has to take him, because it's just I think strikers should just take him.
Especially in the fight for golden boots. I mean, I know strikers like to, obviously these players are not playing themselves, but strikers love goals and strikers love going for these golden boots. And you can't take their golden boots off them. That's their goal, to be the number one striker in the league, and that's their goal, to be number one striker in the world. So Nunez is definitely a shout for penalties. It's just he needs to take him. When he does take him, he needs to show his composure that he has been doing in recent games. Carter, do you agree with Mac Allister shouts for the man of the match? It's a bit mad that we even talk about Kelleher. It's right to talk about Kelleher being man of the match. That we won 5-1. It's very rare you have a keeper in the chat of a 5-1 victory.
I think Kelleher is up there. I think someone put maybe the XG in our chat, but I think the header one came off Endo, so I don't think that would have counted as XG against him. But I think he did. I think he did do well, and I do agree with Mac Allister, but maybe I'm sort of twisting the rules a bit. But I'd go with Elliott, because I think today was a very mature performance. Like, I think sometimes you notice Elliott too much because of, like, let's say we play Man City and Rodri just absolutely smashes into him and tackles him. Those ones look worse than when Szoboszlai just gets tackled normally, even though it's both just getting tackled. I think smaller players like Elliott, it's always against him. When he gets sort of tackled, it always looks worse, because you go, oh, if you had a bigger player, if you had a stronger player, if you had a quicker player. But someone like Bernardo Silva's shown you don't have to be the biggest, the strongest, the fastest. And I think you're slowly seeing Elliott sort of gain that maturity and be a bit smarter and a bit shiftier. And I think today you didn't really see him get dispossessed and sort of tackled off the ball very much. I think 3 assists, as the guys mentioned. I think today was just a very, obviously lower opposition, but I think it was just a very, very mature performance from Elliott.
It was an incredible performance from Elliott, an incredible performance from Mac Allister, but an incredible performance from the team itself, I think. A couple of shaky moments at the back, but we can deal with that. 5-1 victory for the Reds tonight in Prague, party in Prague tonight. And let's leave how we started, and that is with smiles on our faces, because it's very rare you get chances to go into quad runs. I know we've done it already in the last few years, but this is another chance for us to go on a real journey with Jurgen Klopp and these Reds. 5-1 in Prague, and it's pretty much done and dusted, I'd say, possibly for the next round, quarterfinals coming up, and we should be winning this competition. Regardless of anyone else in the competition, we were favourites before tonight, and we should be even more favourites after tonight. Thank you everyone for joining. Make sure you do like and subscribe to the channel. Get your notification bells on. We are live every single night at 7:30, unless it's after the games on or certain American shows on Tuesday nights as well. Thank you everyone for joining, and I hope you have a great weekend. And let's hope we end it with a win against the Manchester City. And enjoy Mother's Day as well, mothers.